Hey everybody, I'm Jared.
And I'm Jordan.
And this is episode 11 of the I Think It's Time podcast. Today is Mother's Day.
Yes, sir.
So we are going to devote today's episode and discussion to our mother, and in particular, some of the ways that we have dealt with her passing.
Yeah, it's been 8 years. This is the 8th Mother's Day without her.
Yeah.
And I think we can agree that both of our feelings have evolved throughout the years.
Yeah.
You know, and that's normal with any type of grief. And that's what I hope to talk about.
Yeah.
What got us through. I want to know today, Jared, what got you through these past 8 years. Because we talk, but I don't think we ever have a intentional conversation about how we're truly feeling and what got us through. We put on a face and you just keep pushing.
Yeah.
That's what I hope to talk about.
Okay. Yeah. I want to hear, I think I know what got you through, because I've seen it almost every day for the past 8 years. But I'd love to hear you talk about it. All right. So let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. So for those of you who follow us on YouTube and have been following us for the past few months, you know, and maybe have seen some of our previous videos about our mother. She was 43 years old when she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And she passed away in 2014. And for the past 8 years, we have been living a life without her, and one that, if you can remember, maybe 10 years back, you never, ever imagined living even a single day without her.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can speak for yourself, but for me, I remember, like, as a kid thinking, nobody around me is going to die.
Yeah.
Right? That happens to other people. That happens to other people. You know? So it's loss is crazy.
I mean, the first time we experienced a loss was our grandma.
Yeah.
And that was when we were like 13. I remember that day. I'll never forget it. You know, that's the first time we experienced a loss. And then 5 years after our grandma died, our mom dies.
Yeah.
And you think you have an idea of what you're about to go through. At least for me, I thought, okay, I know we have to set up for the funeral. We have to make arrangements. We have to be strong, essentially, for our younger siblings. And you kind of just go through the process until that adrenaline wears off and you're sitting by yourself a week later and you're punching the air.
Yeah.
Because you realize, like, oh, she's never coming back. Ever coming back.
Yeah.
It feels like she is. It feels like she's still here. You talk to her. And then, like, what do you do? What do you do? I don't know. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have you and a few other people to help me through that time. That was a scary time for me. And I know it was for you too, but I think that point when she died, it marked a change in both of our lives, but I think we took it differently and we processed it differently and got through each year after that differently.
Yeah, I think the key question that you just asked is what do you do?
And what do you do?
Right? What do you do? A week later, you're punching air. A month later, you're still punching air. A year later, you're still punching air. But somehow, some way, you feel a turn, right? You're able to shift your energy into doing something. So I mean, I think we can, we're going to try to keep this episode relatively short today. We could go on and on talking about our mom.
Yeah.
And we'll, every single Mother's Day, we will be talking about her. Every single one of her birthdays, we'll be talking about her. But I think for today's discussion, I want to know what you did, and I'll share what I did, because I think that's really what got us through.
Oh, 100%.
Right? It's all about what you do.
150%.
And it doesn't happen right away, right? When grief hits you, you sort of, within that first week, within that first month, within that first year, within those first several years, you sort of become immobile, right? Extremely difficult to process a life without the person who you thought would live forever.
Yeah. And this was completely unexpected.
Yes.
That's what I think we should just set the foundation for the people. So if you haven't already seen our video on YouTube where we react to a young singer by the name of Angelina Jordan, and she covers Whitney Houston's and Dolly Parton's original song, I Will Always Love You. Go check that out, because we explain a little more in depth what happened to our mom, but I'll briefly just say that in 2014, she overdosed.
Yeah.
On prescription pain medication.
Yep.
Right? And it was completely unexpected. We were 18 years old in college, freshman year of college. And, I won't get into the story of that. We'll save that for another time, but got a phone call saying she went to the hospital. About an hour later, I was told over the phone that your mother passed away. And those words right there, Jared, were the most surreal words I think I'll ever hear in my life. Because in that moment, think about in that moment, hearing those words, your mother passed away, when she was just here. You were just texting her this morning.
That means the world's over.
That means your entire life just changed undoubtedly forever, every second of your life.
Yeah.
There's before and after that phone call for me. And I will never, ever be the person I was before that phone call.
Yeah.
So it was like a death for me.
Yeah.
Let alone, this is the last thing I'll say before I answer your question. Let alone a death for her, which is what pained me the most. I wish it was me. I'd do anything to replace her, have her live until she's 80, 90 years old. She was 43.
Yeah.
She did not deserve to die. I would have gladly stepped in that place for her. Put me in the ground if she can keep living. That's how I felt and continue to feel. But yeah, I don't know, Jared.
Yeah. So again, it's been 8 years. Feels like one.
Does it for you?
Feels like one.
In what way?
In the sense of, it almost feels like, life without your rock, your world, your everything. There's been an 8-year gap, Jordan. It almost feels like you teleported from 2014 to 2022. And you know, when you pull up a picture of her, when you think about her, you're still living in 2014.
That moment's forever frozen in time.
Right? She's forever 43 years old.
She's forever 43. Yep.
She's forever 43. But yeah, let's jump into it, Jordan. So you can start us off here. What did you do to get you through the past 8 years? And what's continuing to get you through?
The night this happened, everything changed, right? So everything started looking different. Everything started sounding different. When you go and put your headphones on after your mom died or after whoever dies in your life, that music that hits your ears becomes alive. It comes alive. And I remember we had a conversation about this about a week or a couple days after this happened. The music in your ears, wait a minute, that's no longer just like sound. That's life.
Yeah.
And artists like August Alsina, artists like Drake, J. Cole, the artists that we had listened to before this happened became healers. They were no longer singers or rappers. They were healers. So I don't think I went anywhere after this happened without my headphones in. I don't think I did. The music was warm. It brought me life. So that's the one thing that got me through, Jared. Listening to music every single day. And then it was probably like 6 months after she died, there was a recording studio in the basement of the library at our college.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation and said, Jared, we should go to the studio. Let's go to the studio. And many, many nights went by and we're just like, we don't know how to use the equipment. You don't know how to work things. Jared, I don't care. Let's go to the studio. Let's just go to the studio. We know we have a love for music. For me, I always knew I wanted to get something out that way. Rapping. You know,
and at the time, not even having the words to describe what therapy was, right? You didn't, or that wasn't even a thought in our minds of going to therapy. Okay, this just happened. Let's go to therapy. No, the thought was, let's both go to the studio. Not even realizing that right there is natural therapy.
What you just said, Jared, not having the words to express how you're feeling, but knowing that something needs to come out of you and something is burning to come out of you and something will come out of you. So I think it was December or November of that same year. She died in February.
Yeah.
We walked into the studio. Several nights in the studio. Like 4 hours just sitting there playing different beats, Apple loops. We're not musicians.
Yeah.
We don't know how to play the piano, guitar, make beats. But I think we have a pretty good ear, at least I thought, for what sounds good.
Yeah.
So we put on beats and the bass running through you in a professional recording studio is something different. So the music was not only making you feel alive, it was actually vibrating through your entire body. And when I felt that, you start to really punch the air and really let the demons out.
Oh, it's literally like all you have to do is walk in the door, right? Turn on the music, and it's effortless, right? It's effortless. There's no effort needed to get what you need to get out.
Yeah.
That is natural therapy, natural medication.
Yeah. And you can't act like this didn't get you through as well. I know other stuff did, but you made the first song that we ever considered one of our songs. You made that while I was not there. I think I stepped out for something or whatever. And when I heard this song, I cried, and it was like a 40 to 50 second song. And I had a moment or I knew like something's going to come from this. If you're doing that, because I knew how I felt. I knew something was coming no matter what. But when you played this song for me, oh yeah, we're not leaving here. We're not leaving here, Jared, until we have an album.
Yeah, no, music got us both through. But I think seeing you spend hours and hours crafting music, right? Lyrics, getting words on paper, putting them to beats
throughout the years,
and all the while sitting on all of this music and these songs, which to this day have never been shared with the world.
Never.
How many songs would you say you and I have created over the past 8 years that have never been heard by other people?
How many good songs?
No, how many songs?
How many songs?
Like literal songs.
Like songs that aren't recorded fully and stuff like that? Or
yeah, they can be recorded already. They can be lyrics on paper that aren't recorded yet, but songs that are pretty much completed that we're sitting on.
At least 100.
Yeah. I'd say
at least
over 100.
Yeah, at least. But good songs that have given me life and kept me alive.
Yeah.
And I'm no lie about that. Have kept me alive. That songs that I created, that we created, that I listened to in my headphones a couple months after this happened, or after we first stepped in the studio.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to in my headphones during the winter, walking in the snow, and just listening to myself, riding in the car, listening to yourself.
Yeah.
That kept me alive, Jared. That healed me in a sense. And it gave me hope, because I found myself listening to these songs over and over and over and over and over again. And they became a soundtrack for our lives.
That's the craziest part.
And nobody's heard them.
That's the craziest part to me, is that, and that's what proved to me that music is the most powerful thing in the world.
Yes.
You can tell me that, okay, something like this can happen, right? You can lose a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk into a studio, create a piece of music, listen to that music, have that music become the soundtrack for the next 8 years of your life, and have nobody else listen to it but you.
And you go to it anytime you need it. And it sounds the same. And let me just say, one of those songs that you created, it's called Say Goodbye. Mm-hmm. I remember when you created it. I remember when I first listened to it. And to tell you the truth, I just listened to it yesterday and I have the same exact feeling. And this is something that only a few people have ever heard, mm-hmm. right? This is music for us. Right.
This is music that has gotten us through the past 8 years. And that's the only intention of creating this music.
Only intention.
And
it's the scariest thing to release it to others, because, wait, it's not fully produced. It's not the CDQ version. It's not how you want it to sound. Wait, you've listened to it 5,000 times over the years.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter how it sounded to you. It was raw and authentic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a scary thing to even have anybody listen to anything you create.
Yeah.
But Jared, one more thing. You said you remember when you first heard it. Anytime I would write a song, put it over a beat, and record it, I was making it for you. Because if you liked it, that's a done deal right there. We do the same thing we do in terms of how we work on our videos now, editing for YouTube. One of us edits, the other reviews it, because you're the first time reviewer, first time watcher, viewer,
Yeah.
first time listener. Having that process is invaluable.
Invaluable.
You need that, because every time you told me a song was not good, it hurt. It's supposed to hurt. Let's scrap that and let's make it better.
Yeah.
Say Goodbye was one of them where you liked the first verse, you didn't like the other two. So I immediately spent the next few days and made those other verses better. So I think that's what's always stuck with me, Jared. And every time you tell me, I listened to this 100 times on my way to work. I listened to this 100 times last night, Jordan.
I can probably check my iTunes.
Yeah.
How many times you listen to a song.
Yeah.
Those songs are, for the past 8 years, Jordan, and this is bizarre to think about, those songs have been on my top 25 most played songs playlist. Like, you know how you iTunes generates that top 25 songs.
Yeah, man.
Those songs have been on there.
It's crazy.
And to be honest, I don't know where we'd be if those songs weren't created.
I know where I'd be.
In a much darker place.
Unfortunately, in a much, much darker place, Jared.
So I am wondering, can the people hear a snippet from that song?
We're going to play a snippet.
Okay.
And I'm scared to play the snippet.
Yeah.
But this song was created 3 to 4 years ago. I always said to myself, or felt, that within the first 5 years of our mom dying, that's the determining years. Those are the determining years on what happens. Those are the hardest years. When you get outside of that 5-year window to the 6 year, it feels different.
Yeah.
So this was created right around the 4 or 5 year mark. And we're going to play that for the people now.
All right.
We didn't get to say goodbye. We didn't get the chance to say goodbye. I wish that we could say goodbye. If only we could say goodbye. Listen. It's time to shop for Mother's Day. I pick out some flowers, put on top of my mother's grave. I pick out some more to put on top of her mother's grave. All these tears I'ma save for another day. I get flashbacks here and there every other day. I think about you every day, not just in the month of May. Mama, you made everything seem like it was okay. But ever since November 09, nothing was the same. I saw you lying in bed all those days in so much pain. I saw the change, I saw the scabs on your arms and on your face. I saw the ways you coped, you isolated and disengaged. But I just wanna say, Mama, I always saw your strength. And I just wanna let you know that I always was amazed by all the sacrifices for your daughter and sons you made. You always fought through and showed us love, never once complained. But now I'm starting to see how much that burden truly must have weighed. Especially when Nana died, I lost half of me. But you built me back up, you were my battery. You were there even when you didn't have to be. But you lost your charge quicker than the calories. You started drinking more and more and popping pills casually. The doctor upped your dose, that's when you took them at a faster speed. Now you just a number, yeah, just another casualty. And now all I'm left to do is question causality. I wonder why, was it really an accident? Or did you take your life? Questions I just need answering. Did you know that night we were born you were having twins? You told us a lot, but there's still some things you haven't said. When you died, did you know it was happening? Is it how it's depicted in movies? Like, is it heaven sent? Is God real? Does time heal? Have you seen Nana yet? Have you been okay? Great, well I haven't been. Can't believe it's been 5 years. But all my dry tears. I often wonder why I'm here, but then I look inside. True Isaiah Kaya's eyes, I see their pain is much deeper than mine. That's why I can't die here. Oh my God, so I just lie here. I try to fight fear. I felt paralyzed this entire year. No lights here. I'm searching for a sign like a sightseer. Suicide, it's always on my mind. The time's near. I really wish we got the chance to say goodbye here. I really wish we could have said goodbye here. We didn't get to say goodbye. We didn't get the chance to say goodbye. I wish that we could say goodbye. If only we could say goodbye. Yeah.
That's just the first verse, Jared. And again, I'm always so fearful what the people will think, because it's not the CDQ version. This isn't how you want it to sound.
This is the version that of your voice when you first produced it on recording.
On a microphone in here. You don't know anything about microphones. You don't know anything pretty much about Logic Pro X. You know a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like,
if you re-recorded it today, it'd sound 100 times better.
Well, the emotion wouldn't be there.
I'm talking about the quality of the voice would sound 100 times better in a microphone like this.
Yes.
But, and that was the thing, should we re-record it? Should we not? Because you'll lose that authentic emotion of how you felt when you were spilling those words out into the microphone.
Right.
Yeah, that song, I think, for me, it gets me every time, because there's no, it's really just one long instrumental.
Yes.
And it's soft and somber. And this is a song of introspection, right? How are you doing? We didn't get a chance to say goodbye. I wish that I could say goodbye. It's a beautiful song.
Appreciate that, Jared. When you told me that, it was the best feeling of my life, because that's all I was trying to do, was make a song that me and you could listen to for years.
Right. And that's what blew my mind, is I think, like, okay, is J. Cole going to create the soundtrack that I need?
Yeah.
Is August Alsina going to create the soundtrack that I need?
Yeah.
I didn't expect Jordan to create the soundtrack that I needed. Like, that was wild. And just to, that was wild.
Jared, I want to play the song that you made, because it's so raw at the end of this podcast episode.
We'll see.
All right. I hope the people like that song.
It doesn't matter.
I guess it doesn't really matter. You're right. It doesn't matter. I'm going to still listen to it every year, a couple times per month, if I need it.
For the rest of your life?
Probably for the rest of my life, Jared. And that's the beautiful thing about music. You create something, and if you like it enough, that'll stick with you forever. I always wondered how it's going to sound in 30 years. What would that sound like? Anyway, Jared, what got you through, brother?
Well, obviously the music, not as much as you, but I benefited by listening to the music that you created
and making
a few songs here and there.
Yeah.
But your music got me through. The main thing that has gotten me through the past several years is feeling, and before I discuss it, I never knew what people meant, right? When they say, okay, my son, my daughter died from drunk driving. My loved one died from a school shooting. My loved one died from cancer, right? All the different types of things that people die from, and the issues behind them. And I never knew what people meant when they said, I am now an advocate I am now a mother against drunk driving, right? I am an advocate in finding a cure for cancer. I never knew what they meant. So I think for me, coming right out of college, Jordan, I had this burning desire, and I can't explain it. I wanted nothing to do with anything other than the thing that killed my mom. It was so bizarre because, coming out of college, seeing other people, go off and get huge jobs at banks and other firms. I wanted nothing to do with that. The only thing I wanted to do was to be as close as I could to the thing that killed my mom. And that happened to be opioids, right? So coming right out of college, I was lucky enough, that's how I felt, lucky enough to be able to get a job working on the streets, Jordan, at a nonprofit whose sole mission was to keep people healthy and reduce substance use. And most importantly, over the past several years, save people from dying from opioids. So, and that entire year, Jordan, I remember one particular instance where it was my second day on the job. This is bizarre for me to think about. Second day on the job, and these two young people come in the door.
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my role at this nonprofit was to counsel people who were addicted to opioids and other substances and try to connect them with treatment services in the community. These two young people walk in the door. I, mind you, still barely knew what the word opioid meant. Right? And I'm sitting in front of two people who are in severe withdrawal from opioids. And the only thing they want is help. Second day on the job, I've got two people in front of me that I believe they're 25, 26 years old, and they need help. So I worked with them that day, and maybe for several months after that, linking them to various services. But that was like, whoa, that was like a mind altering experience, realizing that this is an epidemic. It wasn't just mom, right? This is happening to young people, old people, people of all demographics. And I wanted to be as close as that as I could. So that's what got me through. That year was amazing. And then, ever since then, being close to this issue and advocating for people who use drugs and trying to come up with ways to reduce the opioid overdose crisis in the same county that our mom died in.
It's mind bending. I don't mean to cut you off, Jared. Mind bending for me, because at the funeral, I remember you gave the eulogy. We gave the eulogy together.
Yeah.
But you spoke after me. And one thing that you said, I don't know exactly, I can't remember exactly what it was. You said, I will hunt down the system that killed my mother. Something like that. And I was like,
I didn't even know what I was saying at the time.
Right. And I don't think it was those exact words, but it was very, very close. And I was like, oh, whoa. And that's what I've seen for the past really 5 years. exactly what you just described.
Yeah, in that, when I stated those words at the funeral,
Yeah.
that's that burning desire.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where to aim yet,
Yeah.
but you know you need to aim somewhere. Something happened here, right? It's a system failure. It's a system failure, not even knowing at the time what an opioid was. That's the most bizarre thing.
And you're talking about at the time you started your job.
Yeah.
This was 4 years after she died.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes. And throughout college,
Yeah.
right, throughout those 4 years after she died, just waiting, Jordan, waiting to have the opportunity to be close to this issue.
So I'm wondering, what has that done for you? Because you said you wanted to be as close as you could to the issue, to helping people, the same issue that killed your mom. What has it done for you these past couple years?
Jordan, the word is purpose.
Purpose.
And I didn't know what that meant,
Yes.
right? Purpose.
Yep.
Every single day for the past 5 years, I've felt an enormous sense of purpose, Jordan. Connection to the work. And that's what people live for, right? And that's, in many cases, that's all you need in this life. Let me tell you this. This is how serious it was early on. You know, it's been about 5 years I've been in this, connected to this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Early on, for the first solid 3 years, right? Every single day, whenever I would have any free time, right? Whether it's 15 minutes at work, a half an hour. What I did, Jordan, and what I still do today, a little bit lesser now, but every day for those first 3 years, was go on Google and type in the word opioid. That's it. Opioid, search, click news. News, right? And you get the latest news just by typing in the word opioid. Okay. New treatment available for opioid use disorder. Pharmaceutical companies forced to pay billions of dollars. New substance stronger than fentanyl discovered. It's like trying to consume as much as humanly possible about the thing that killed our mom. It's not something that I can explain, but I'm sure people out there, Jordan,
Absolutely,
listening to this, and I've never talked to another person who, has devoted a portion of their life to advocating for an issue that they've, experienced or has, that their loved one has died from, but I'd love to.
Yes.
This is not a unique phenomenon.
Not at all. I have another question for you. And we talk about this a lot. We question, what would you be doing if she didn't die from opioids? If she was still here, where would you be? That's the twisted part about something like this and how much it can change your life. Because if she wasn't here, you would not be working where you're working now, or have maybe anywhere near the amount of passion you have for the opioid epidemic that you do now. So
not one bit. Jordan, if she didn't die, I would probably be 5,000 miles away from mom. If that makes sense. Right? Because when you graduate from college, get a job, you're not necessarily worried about staying close to home or staying close to your mother or your parents. You want to get as far away as possible. But when this happens, I wanted to get as close as possible. But yeah, I don't know where I'd be. All I know is that I would not know, and I may not even care about the opioid epidemic.
It's the craziest thing. Because like you said, there's people out there who say their son dies from a school shooting.
Yeah.
And you see it. Now they spend the rest of their life as an advocate against school shootings, against guns, in a sense.
And when you flip on the news, you wonder how they can be so passionate about this issue
Right.
for years on end.
And Jared, there's millions of different issues. Cancer.
Yeah.
It could be anything. But I think it does come down to purpose. You know, death definitely speeds up the journey for purpose.
100%.
And I think that's one of the benefits that has come out of this.
Yeah.
It's giving you a sense of purpose. You realize you're not, your life isn't for nothing. You're actually helping people out here, and in turn helping yourself in processing things.
And just one more point about that. You know, when people, like you just mentioned, you know, somebody who's a parent and their child dies from gun violence, what do you hear from them, Jordan? A year ago, I didn't know anything about this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're spitting everything there is to know about the issue. They know everything and more.
Yeah.
And they know what the solutions are.
Yeah.
Right? And there's just not enough time in this life. And if they could devote 2 lifetimes to the issue.
Is it a never ending fight? Do you almost think it's unhealthy at times? Does it become like an obsession where you're trying to get vindication for what happened to mom? Or is it like you, after working all these years, do you feel like you have gained a sense of peace? Or is it like, I'm not stopping until this?
I think to see firsthand that people are still dying from this issue, Jordan.
Yeah.
Like to literally see the names of people and see the faces of these people. Some who were former clients of mine during that first year out of college. To see that these people are continuing to die, it's relentless, Jordan. It definitely has become an obsession. But I mean, when you see improvements and you're able to lessen the number of people dying, and you see that year after year, that's where the extreme satisfaction comes in. That you potentially had a small impact in saving somebody's life. That's, again, another cliche thing that people say is, you save one life, that's what makes everything worth it.
Yes. It's true.
It's true.
It's true, Jared. It's true.
Yeah. So
It's true.
that's what has got me through, and I am extremely grateful,
Yeah.
Jordan, to literally be in a position to be able to be so close to the issue that killed her.
Oh, yeah.
And to have learned so much about everything that has to do with what killed her. Right? Opioid.
Mental health.
Mental health.
Mental health.
Yeah.
And this is Mental Health Awareness Month in the United States, right? Is
Yes.
it worldwide?
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, maybe worldwide. I know in the United States, yeah.
So, Jared, you have taught me how closely tied the opioid epidemic and mental health is. They go hand in hand here.
And one and the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One and the same. And yeah, Jared, I could hear you talk about this forever because I've seen it. I saw it up close and personal. You were able to process her death by doing what you've done the past couple of years.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's like, it's what you want to do when somebody dies. You want to get a little bit of vindication, but you also want to live a purposeful, decent life where you can get a sense of peace with what you're doing and process things at the same time.
Yeah.
My last question for you, Jared, before we wrap this up is, how have you been personally? Like throughout the years, it feels like to me you've been able to put on more of a strong persona. You know, I'm very open when I am not feeling the best, especially those first couple years. I'm like, Jared, what are you doing? She's dead. Just, you gonna cry or is it just gonna be me? How are you doing after 8 years when your whole entire world, it doesn't really feel like that now because you've rebuilt the world in a sense for yourself. How have you done throughout the years personally? Are you at a good place right now?
I mean, I'll just go back to your music, Jordan. I think your music has put me in a good place. As crazy as that sounds, it's brought so much peace, right? In addition to the work that I do in my job, to have free, healing, inspirational, and the most powerful music that I've ever heard, you know, that combination, Jordan, there's no need for me to cry. Right? I can't bring those tears out. I actually wish I would have cried more over the past 8 years.
Why?
Because I feel there is emotion and, you know, perhaps trauma inside the body that needs to come out.
You become calcified, Jared.
Great word.
Thank you.
Calcified.
That's what you've become a little bit. Me too.
What's calcified?
Hardened. You know, you're turning into a rock a little bit. Like you're a strong person.
I'm a soft person.
On the inside, Jared. It's all, I mean, just looking at her. When it first happened, there's no way I'm living on. I'm out. No, I'm out, Jared. I don't know how many more days I can do this and act like I actually want to be here. Take me out, please. And that's where the music comes in.
Yes.
It's the only thing that kept me here. Aside from the people in my life, in our lives, who really, really were there and support. That's where I think I found out what real support means. when you're not doing well and you know it, and other people can actually support you.
Yeah.
Friends, partners, Jared, family. You know, when you still have a dad alive who actually cares about you and loves you.
Mm.
And you realize, okay, I'm not in this alone. I'm really not. We're all going to go through different journeys because this death affects each of us differently.
Yeah.
And we're going to express ourselves differently. We're going to be at different points of the grief ladder, scale. But knowing we're in this together, that's another thing that got me through. But the music, Jared, there's nothing like it. And to have both of us on that same wavelength throughout the years, to be able to communicate via the music, I mean, that's been the most beautiful thing I think that will ever occur in my life.
Let me ask one more question.
Go ahead.
If mom didn't die,
Yeah.
would any of the music have been created?
None of the songs dedicated to her or even remotely emotional would have been created. I don't know what would have been created. I told her I want to rap. Like I love this. I want to rap. She said, Jordan, go for it. Jordan, do it, Jordan. What are you rapping about if this doesn't happen?
Yeah.
What are you making music about if this doesn't happen? Nothing.
Yeah. And to be honest, you know, when I talk about getting close to the issue,
Yeah.
we're just getting close to the issue in different ways.
Yep.
Jordan. In the music, you may be getting closer to the issue than I am.
Mm.
You know, it's ironic that it has been, I'll use the word beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a beautiful 8 years since she passed, because it has provided us with a purpose that can only be created and fostered by death.
That's it.
By death. And like you said early on, Jordan, how if it were a choice between you or her, right?
Mm-hmm.
You choose yourself to go in the ground 100 times out of 100 times. Jordan, I would choose it quicker than the speed of sound. Quicker than the speed of sound. Think about this, Jordan. If you were given a choice for her to be healthy, happy, and set for the rest of her life, but, you know, one of us has to die. See ya. See ya.
That's it. Take me.
See ya.
Please. Like, please take me.
Please.
Please.
And you know what? Please incinerate me, put me in an ash, and hang me around your neck.
Yeah.
Because I know you'll treat me well.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's...
Jared, man, she was everything. She still is everything, man. I don't know. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. To those of you with moms in your life. To those of you with moms in your life who you may not have the best relationship with. To those of you who have lost your mom. And to the many of you who have individuals who serve in that role, or who are, you know, the mother figure in your life. Happy Mother's Day, and we hope that this day brings you joy.
Yeah.
Because it sure does for me, Jared. It really does now. The first couple were horrifying. But this day really, it's a day of reflection.
Yeah.
And we have had thousands and thousands of conversations over the years about her, about this. Jared, it's true what they say. I don't know how the exact quote goes, but the pain softens over the years. However they say it. That's true. I never thought I'd feel that.
You never thought you'd feel or see a day where you can look at a picture of her and not have tears well up in your eyes.
Well, with our grandma, who died 5 years before she did, I felt that exact same feeling. After the 5-year mark, when I would think about her, I look at a picture, the tears were tears of joy. It wasn't tears of sadness. And I feel the exact same now. Same thing now. I'm looking at a picture of her and it's joy. You know, it's a lot of sadness, but purpose. Like you know why you're walking on this earth now. You can't change that. You wish you could with everything, every fiber of your being, but you can't.
Yeah.
And you know that you are her. So a lot of times you're going to live like she would live, or she would want you to live. Make her proud, man. That's another purpose.
Yes.
To make her proud. That's probably my ultimate purpose right now.
And the last thing, Jordan, the thing that you can't ever be certain of, but you know in your heart you're certain of, is that she's still with you.
Yeah.
And you're speaking with her.
Yeah.
Whether it's through the 1111 that you see on your phone every few days, whether it's the butterfly that flies across and maybe lands on your chair. Jordan, we are in communication.
Or at least you convince yourself you are.
And
if that gets you through,
that's all you need.
That's right. Thank you so much for listening to us spill our thoughts and feelings about our mom. If you enjoyed this, make sure you go check out our other podcast episodes and make sure you check out our YouTube channel. Like I said, we have a reaction video on there where we listen to one of our mom's favorite songs. One of the songs that was played at her funeral, Whitney Houston's rendition of I Will Always Love You. So make sure you go check that out on our YouTube page, and we will see you next time.
Peace.